Thrombosis, or the formation of potentially deadly blood clots, is a condition that can silently afflict anyone, regardless of age or health status. It's a topic that demands our attention and understanding, as knowledge about its signs, symptoms, and management can be life saving. Today, I have a very special guest, Sahar Mazavi Bacon, a patient advocate volunteer for Thrombosis Canada, who will share not only crucial information about thrombosis, but also her personal journey navigating through its challenges. Welcome to What She Said, Sahar.
Thanks for having me, Candace.
So, your personal experience with thrombosis, particularly developing a DVT that led to a pulmonary embolism, is a really powerful story. So, can you share with us a bit more about that moment you realized something was wrong and how it has shaped your life and work since then?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was recovering from hip surgery that I received after getting hit by a car as a pedestrian in 2017. The surgery was in July of 2019, and I was about 2.5 to 3 weeks out of surgery. I was at home with my partner, and he was helping me do some physio exercises. And I can remember that a song had just finished, and he was looking at his phone, picking the next workout song, when all of a sudden, to him, he said it looked like I was having a seizure. And what I can remember is coming in and out of consciousness throughout that evening. The last thing that I can remember was being on a stretcher in my garage with an oxygen mask over my face. And I remember saying to him, "I'm sorry, I love you." And then the next thing I knew, it was 18 hours later. I had just awoken from a brief coma, an 18-hour coma, and I was in the ICU. I was fully intubated. I was covered in wires and different pumps and things going on to me. And I learned that I had experienced multiple cardiac arrests due to DVT and massive pulmonary embolism. So that was really life altering for me, because all of these terms that were being thrown at me when I was in such a vulnerable state, I had never heard before. So it was really a big shock for me and my family.
It's horrifying, actually, listening to your story. I mean, people can't see you who are listening on the radio. You're a young woman, and you just wouldn't expect this. I think we may probably have stereotypes in our head, right? That it
Mhm.
should be somebody older would get this, not somebody so young.
Yeah.
So, the research study led by Thrombosis Canada revealed some really startling facts about the use of anticoagulants, commonly referred to as blood thinners, concerning missed dosages and knowledge gaps. Can you delve into a bit of the key findings and why it's so vital for individuals and caregivers to be well informed about managing anticoagulants?
Yeah, absolutely. So the research findings definitely prompted the need for more awareness about anticoagulants to address some gaps in information. Specifically looking at anticoagulants, they continue to be widely used to treat or prevent several serious health conditions. Yet a significant number of respondents report missing or skipping doses, and not knowing what to do should they miss a dose. More knowledge is also required around anticoagulants and bleeding issues. Specifically, the knowledge that anticoagulants do not cause bleeding, but can make it worse as they interfere with blood clotting, which normally helps to stop the bleed. And then when a major or a serious bleed occurs, while taking an anticoagulant, urgent care is often required in an emergency department. But when a non-major or less serious bleeding occurs, it usually stops on its own and does not last long. And I know that was something that I definitely did not know. And I can remember being afraid my first year on anticoagulants. I remember I was afraid to carve a pumpkin at this time of year because I was so worried that if I nicked myself, I was going to bleed out, and I just didn't have the knowledge.
Right.
In retrospect, I learned that that's not the case. So please carve your pumpkins this time of year. But more education is definitely required around treatment, like reversal agents that
Yeah.
can stop bleeding for people using anticoagulants and kind of ease fears about taking them. On top of that, roughly 2 to 4% of people in Canada experience major bleeding while taking an anticoagulant each year. In our survey, there was 55% of people did not know or were not sure that there were treatments that can be used to reverse the effects of anticoagulants to stop major bleeding. And more than 3/4 of the people surveyed said that they would feel more comfortable taking an anticoagulant if they knew that a reversal agent could be used to stop a major bleeding incident. So this is a real case of knowledge is power, right?
Oh, absolutely. And another thing, you were on the birth control pill, correct? And
Yes.
that had an impact on your thrombosis. So what should women be aware of regarding the risk factors and prevention of
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. So, I mean, number one tool here is talking to your doctor. I know that when I was going in for my surgery, I was told carry on with all of your medication as normal. In retrospect, I don't think it would have been necessary for me to continue taking my birth control pill, which increased the probability of me experiencing thrombosis. Um, I would say though there shouldn't be fear around taking birth control. But if there is a history of clots in your family, it's important to talk to your doctor about that. Find out about alternate methods of contraception and what's right for you.
So, managing life with anticoagulants involves certain considerations and adjustments, I'm sure. So, how do you navigate through daily activities and manage dosages while ensuring your safety, obviously, while on these?
Yeah, of course. So I'm on an anticoagulant that I take twice daily. So I take it in the morning, I take it in the evening. For me, it's just, I reached that point where I was like, okay, there's enough now that I'm adding 2 pills to this. There's enough medication here where it's time to justify the daily pill containers. So
Right.
I keep track of things that way. I've talked to my doctor about what to do if I do miss a dose, because at the end of the day, we are human and sometimes we flub and we forget to take something. So, in talking to my doctor, I learned what to do if I do miss it. And the answer was definitely don't double up. And
Right.
in terms of just kind of my day to day, it's my day to day is very normal, even though I am on anticoagulants. Something that I do that's a great comfort to me is I do wear this necklace that shows that I am on blood thinners. And while it's not entirely necessary, it's something that helps me kind of get through my day to day with a bit more comfort for those, scenarios that we can create in our minds about, well, what if I'm in a faraway land and I'm not with
Right.
my partner or I'm not with my family and the people around don't know me and they don't know this. I want them to know this information. So this has been a huge stress relief for me, really, to have this on me, just to kind of get the message out there that it's okay to take steps like this if it helps you get through your day to day a little bit easier.
Absolutely. So October is Thrombosis Month, really pivotal month to raise awareness. And as you've mentioned, there is a lack of knowledge and awareness around this. So, what is Thrombosis Canada doing this month that people can, find out more?
Great. So first, we're trying to get the word out through media opportunities like we have today on your broadcast. So thank you again for having me here today. We have a few patients sharing their unique stories and experiences to try to reach all Canadians. We want people to learn the signs and symptoms, what they can do if they have a thrombosis, and learn more about the use of anticoagulants to treat blood clots and prevent future ones, which is a big piece. Additionally, Thrombosis Canada has also marked Thrombosis Month with professional education and patient webinars hosted by Canada's leading hematologists and thrombosis experts. Yesterday, some listeners may have seen some buildings, bridges, and signs lit up in red and blue to mark World Thrombosis Day and bring attention to an issue that impacts so many of us. And by drawing attention to the month, we hope that people will learn more about blood clots, how they are treated, and what can be done to prevent them. I always say that you don't know what you don't know. And I was very young when I experienced this life-changing DVT and PE. Thrombosis is a health condition that can impact someone at any age for a variety of reasons. So the best thing that we can do is equip ourselves with as much knowledge as possible so that we are feeling ready when life throws us a curveball.
All right, incredible. I had no idea this could happen to somebody so young and under those conditions. So, this is really good information. So, thrombosiscanada.ca. And thank you so much for joining me today, Sahar.
Thanks again.